Are you shy? Do social situations and crowded rooms raise your anxiety levels? Is communicating face to face like pulling teeth every time? Maybe you often get lost in your own head, daydreaming or fantasizing entire interactions and conversations that never happen. Let me guess. People call you weird, strange, a loner. They don't get you and never have. Maybe you were picked on or bullied as a kid. Maybe you still are. And that only fuels your self-consciousness to the point that you agonize over everything from what to wear outside the house to how to stand and what to do with your hands when you meet someone you know on the street. But there's another side to you that far too few people see, isn't there? You're thoughtful and kind. You show great amounts of empathy and make die-hard friends for life, even if you only see or speak to them once or twice a month, or maybe even a year. You are very grounded in your own sense of what's right, and your moral fortitude is one of the things that people often remark about the most. You have a very analytical mind that allows you to take on complex tasks without getting overwhelmed. That means you're great at digging into data and finding the reasons why and how things work the way they do. You're comfortable being alone for hours because it gives you time to learn new things, embrace lifelong hobbies, or just read good books. If you heard any of these and thought I was describing you, I was. You could very well be an introvert. I know, because I'm one too. My guess would be that you're here because you haven't really embraced your introversion yet. It's still something you're exploring and learning about. Maybe it's always been a source of shame or at least disappointment for you. You know your struggle with feeling comfortable in social situations has held you back to some extent, either personally or professionally. But you know that's not right. Introversion isn't something to be afraid or ashamed of. Introversion is simply a personality type, just like any other. It's neither good nor bad in and of itself. Only when we apply our own judgments, or more likely, the judgments we adopt from our peers, our parents, our co-workers, and our bosses, does introversion become saddled with this negative energy. If we allow that negative energy to pervade our lives, it will have very real consequences. For example, did you know that research shows an introvert is much less likely to be groomed for promotion than their extrovert cousin? That means an introvert will make nearly $500,000 less over the course of their career than an extrovert in the very same line of work. And when it comes to even casual relationships, introverts struggle more, likely because they have much poorer social memories than extroverts do. All of those make up the reason why introverts, when asked, will rate their happiness significantly lower than extroverts. But if you're an introvert, you don't have to fall into the swamp of sadness. Yes, that was a never-ending story reference. Why? Because many of the same introverted personality traits and quirky habits you possess can, when perceived from a certain point of view, be the strongest tools you have at your disposal to change your life. Grab onto the success you've always known you deserve, and rise above the psychological ties that hold you down. You can be successful, wealthy, happy, and live the life you deserve when you learn to turn your introverted energy around and build on the solid foundation with which you were born. What do I mean? People call you intellectual or cerebral like it's a bad thing. That means you've got the brain power to puzzle out the most complex problems in your head before making any moves in the real world. Your bookish traits make you a great learner, and knowledge truly is power. Your empathy means that even if you are different than the people you work with, you can understand them well enough to learn their motivations, personality quirks, and communication styles. Your self-awareness has led to embarrassment in the past, but it can be used for good when you learn new communication techniques like active listening, mimicry, and nonverbal communication. Your habit of latching on to a very select group of close friends means that you can build valuable symbiotic relationships with individuals who will have very powerful impacts on your life, both professionally and personally. But what about your lack of self-confidence and your timidity? Surely these can't be good things, can they? Maybe not, but I promise you, they're a lot easier to overcome than you may think. For example, did you know that simply adopting a power pose can instantly boost your testosterone levels, raising your confidence and measurably improving your performance? or that there are surprisingly simple ways to hijack conversations and steer them towards topics you're much more comfortable with, or that faking it until you make it actually works. My name is Robert Palmer. I'm a professional copywriter, author, and successful leader in a fast-paced retail sales environment with dozens of employees under my supervision. But all of those are recent developments in my life that only occurred after I learned how to embrace the positive energy, overcome my own resistance to change, conquer the fears associated with it, and saw the very real monetary value of being an introvert. Don't believe me? I wasn't lying when I said I was cripplingly shy as a child. So introverted that the mere thought of spending a few hours with family members over Christmas dinner impacted me so strongly that I faked an illness and sat in a snow-covered car the whole time. If I was that bad off, and if I made such a massive change in my life that I'm comfortable leading teams of employees, many of whom are older than me, have been with the company longer than me, and have very strong personalities of their own, then I know you too can embrace your own introversion and make very real changes in your life. I created an Introvert's Guide to a WealthyLife.com and wrote an Introvert's Guide to Wealth to help you and the millions of other introverts out there successfully grapple with their introversion and the very real effect it has on your life. The question you have to ask yourself is, am I ready to change my life for the better? Scary, isn't it? But I'm here to help. The Introvert's Guide to Wealth is your blueprint to make that change. Pick up your copy today on Amazon and start living the life you deserve.